Hello and welcome to the brewery. Today we're trying some experiments. So I've had the same sparge and recirculation setup in my mash tun since I first built it, and it's not been great, especially as over time it's got a little bit clogged up and it's not really working. So I thought I'd look at the options to try to replace it. So today what we're going to do is look at the spray patterns you get with different types of basically recirculation system. We're going to run through a variety of different types of recirculation setup and see what the spray patterns look like. Now, you will have seen the lid of my mash tun in previous videos. What we have here is both recirculation and sparge. Comes in here through a temperature sensor and drops down into the top of the mash tun. Now, I've been using the same system for both recirculation and sparge for a while, and I don't think it's really optimized for both. Now, what we have inside is a simple sort of T-shape of 8mm, maybe 10mm copper tube, and a ring. All of these bits have holes drilled in them at maybe 2cm intervals. Now, well, this has worked okay for many a long year. You can see how old it is just from the dirtiness of it. It's not hugely great for either recirculation or for sparging. So if you're running it with low circulation for sparging, the liquid tends to come out of just a few of these central holes. So you just get a line in the mash tun. When I'm running for recirculation, the holes aren't really big enough and there's too many of them, and it gets jammed up with grains. So a lot of these holes are actually blocks and I've been unable to clear them out. When recirculating, it tends to squirt out at high pressure from once again a fairly small number of the actual holes. Okay, so what have I got? I've got a series of stainless steel plates with holes drilled in the centre, varying from 6cm in diameter to 15cm, and a 15cm plate with holes in it. I also have a number of different ways of attaching them onto the pipe. To start with, I have a number of 50mm pipe ends with variations on holes and slots drilled in them. We'll have a look at those in a second. And we have a connector that allows me to just pour water straight from the pipe with a little bit of a drop onto the plate. And finally, we have a spiral spray nozzle just to try it out and see if it works. So looking at the pipe ends more closely, obviously they all have holes in the ends to be attached to the plate through, but we have one with 4 large holes drilled in it. These are about 6mm holes. We have one with some slots cut in it. These are a bit untidy, but they're just tryout slots. And we have one with a large number of smaller holes. These are 4mm holes. And here's a closer view of the clip designed to let water drop straight onto the plate. This is based on the design from Short Circuited Brewers, linked to their channel above. And so for the setup, I'm going to attach each of the variations onto the end of a piece of plastic pipe connected to the tap and run water through against a dark background so we can see the pattern. Obviously there's a bucket there to catch all the spray. So first, the small holes on their own. While there's quite a nice spread of spray here, it's in separate streams which will all land in the same place in the end. The big holes have the same issue as the small ones, only worse, especially as water pressure is increased. And the slotted end piece is much the same as the other two when used on its own. Now when we use the large holes with the 10cm plate, we get something a little more interesting. The water seems to follow the path it's taken out of the hole to the edge of the plate, so we just get 4 more dispersed streams of water. When we do the same with the small holes, we get many more separate streams of water, but they are still distinct streams so they do appear to move around a bit. The slots don't seem to be working very well at all. I think I probably need to cut these a lot more tidily if I was going to use this sort of method. So let's try them with a perforated plate. A large hole seems to be giving much better dispersion here, with drops landing in quite a wide range of places. With the small holes we seem to be getting water distributed quite well over the entire area. So now we move on to trying the clip with the small plate. We're getting a very different pattern here, but the water appears to be pulling back towards the centre again underneath the plate. So when we have a larger plate underneath, which is how we need to do it with this clip fitting, we see we're getting better dispersion of the water over a number of separate streams. Next, the clip with the largest plate. Once again, quite a number of separate streams of water coming off, but they do seem to be fairly large and concentrated. With the clip and the perforated plate, I think we're seeing the best dispersion of the water we've seen so far. And finally, the spiral spray nozzle thing. Now, this seems to get quite a good spray, but requires quite a lot of pressure to actually get it working, and there is a very strong central jet straight down. Well, I think those experiments were fairly interesting, showing advantages and disadvantages to different types of recirculation setup. I think I'm probably going to go with the bracket type connector with the large disc with the holes in it, but I'll just have to continue thinking about it. That's it for this video. In the next video we will be looking at how I'm going to build this into the actual mash tun and how the whole system's going to work. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in another video.